Hello, and welcome to Unity Church on the Mountain from my home. Today, the title of the talk is Mindfulness. But before I begin that, let's start by affirming our opening statement. There is only one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God. Taking a deep breath, a holy breath, and releasing, we move into that still and quiet place within us, where we can affirm together the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So taking another deep breath and releasing. Become aware of your body. Are you sitting, standing, or lying? Move into a comfortable position, preferably with your spine upright. If you're sitting or standing, your feet firmly on the ground. Become aware of your body right now. Shift your posture so that you are comfortable. Become aware of your body. Allow yourself to be aware of any sound that might be coming to your ears. Something in the distance. Hearing it without comment, only allowing it to be what it is. With each breath, we move a little deeper into the silence, into that still place. We hear the sounds and we allow them to be what they are without following them and without placing judgment on them. And similarly with our thoughts, the thoughts are there. They flow by us. They come and they go without any effort on our part, and we just allow. Without following them, they go their way. Feelings, any perception, inside us or without us. Feeling the air as it touches our skin, and just allowing it to be. Open, allowing, releasing our attachment to what we should be feeling, to what we should be thinking in this moment, and observing without judgment. as a thought grabs our awareness and carries us down the stream with it, as soon as we become aware, we move ourselves back without judgment, just grateful. Each time we find that we have moved ourselves down that river of thought, following a thought, we move back to center, grateful for the opportunity to become aware and to move back to center. From that still and silent place, let us each feel gratitude. Grateful not for any one thing, just grateful. And with this spirit of gratitude, we say thank you, and so it is. Amen. So, the title of the talk today is Mindfulness. And I would like to refer back to last week's talk, which was on centering prayer. Centering prayer rose out of a field of zeitgeist that was sweeping across America that included transcendental meditation, which was introduced to our country mostly through the Beatles. And at the same time, there was this movement of mindfulness. Mindfulness. And it is out of this field that Christianity began to move back to its roots. The roots that it had lost through scholasticism and the Enlightenment, or that concentration of attention on the material world as a mechanical universe. And it moved back into that mysticism, that Christian mysticism that was lost. Centering prayer, you will notice, is very similar to what I'm going to speak about today, which is mindfulness. So before I begin talking about mindfulness, I would like you to bring to your mind, what was your practice like through the week with centering prayer? Did you give it a try? If you did, what was that experience like? And if you didn't, that's okay. Set your intention that you will begin with mindfulness or centering prayer this week. And I might encourage you, if you're new to meditation or this form of affirmative prayer, centering prayer, to begin with mindfulness. It's a little simpler. Not that it's necessarily easy to do, because these things take practice. But it's very simple, and it's a good introduction into affirmative prayer or centering prayer or some of these other meditation practices. We do these practices of mindfulness and centering prayer so that we can be more aware of ourselves and where our consciousness is and where our attention is throughout the day. If you think about the golden key, Stop thinking about the difficulty, whatever it is, and think about God instead. Well, we can't even begin to do that if we are not aware of what our thoughts are. If we're not aware that we're dwelling on a difficulty, that difficulty is getting our attention, then we can't take the steps that are necessary to bring ourselves to attention on God, attention on Spirit, bringing our attention to the truth of who we are as divine beings. So the first step is awareness. And these prayers and this devotional time that we spend, hopefully daily or working towards that goal, this devotional time allows us, it trains us, it brings our consciousness to awareness so that it's easier to be aware through the events of the day. When we take a spirit break, it's a time to bring our attention from wherever it is back to spirit, back to focusing on truth. All of this becomes easier the more we practice it. And we practice it in controlled conditions. We find ourselves in a still place, a quiet place. And that's the first step of mindfulness practice, is to find a place where you can be alone and not interrupted, that is relatively quiet, and just take a seat. The actual posture of the seat is not as important as having the upright spine. You can sit in your chair with your feet firmly on the floor. That's the position I prefer. In my more flexible days, I like to sit cross-legged or in the lotus posture. I don't think I ever became comfortable enough in the lotus posture to meditate there, but I did sit cross-legged on a pillow to raise my seat a little bit more above my feet. But the point of it is to be comfortable, but not so comfortable that you fall asleep, and that is the danger of lying prone. When we lie down, it's so easy to fall asleep. But I will say, when I first began to meditate, I meditated lying down. If I had trouble going to sleep, I would meditate until I just fell asleep. So there's the first step in mindfulness, is take your seat. As you take your seat, begin to move into the next step and set a time limit. There's two reasons why we set a time limit. Number one, we have other things going on in our life, so we want to set a limit on the time we'll spend in meditation so that we're not late for whatever comes next. And we set a time limit so that we have a goal. Because it's very easy, and I've seen myself do this, even with an alarm set. My mind will wander off. I will allow my awareness to follow some thought, and before I know it, I'm up out of my seat and moving into some action that was on my to-do list. It happens so naturally with us. It's just part of our nature. So set that time limit. It could be 5 minutes if you're just beginning, 10 minutes, Let it grow into something bigger, but start where you're at. If 5 minutes seems to be a long time, and it is then, let it be 5 minutes. 5 minutes is so much better than no minutes. But set that goal and then allow. The next step, after we have found our seat and set our time limit goal, is to become aware of the body. So we've sat ourselves into that posture that we chose in step one, And we become aware of our seat wherever it is sitting. We become aware of our arms, our legs, our feet. We become aware of any type of tension that may be in our body. As we discover tension, we can take that deep breath and relax it. And you'll notice as your body becomes more relaxed, it's natural for the spine to become more upright. You can emphasize that by imagining that you have a string attached to the top of your head and that you're gently pulling it. Just allowing everything to align. In this aligned state, the energy from spirit can flow through us and back to spirit through us. And again, and this cycle is so much easier. It wipes out any obstructions that our body may be causing, because these tensions that we feel are obstructions to that flow. So we have taken our seat, we've set a time limit, we've noticed our body, and now we're breathing. We're becoming aware of our breathing. This doesn't mean that we set our breathing to a certain pattern. It only means that we become more aware of our breath. As we become more aware of our breath and move into this inside, this inner space, it's natural for our breathing to become a little more deeper and a little more slow. Gentle breathing in and out. A little deeper than normal, a little slower than normal. This is a natural progression from our relaxation, from becoming aware of our body and focusing our attention on our breath. So notice the contrast from centering prayer. In centering prayer, we set our intention with a sacred word. And then in mindfulness, we are setting our attention on our breath. That flow of spirit through us is analogous to our breath. So we just allow our breathing to be what it is, and we let our attention lie with that. And that brings us to the next step, because it's bound to happen. We're human beings. So the next step, just like it was in centering prayer, is to notice our thoughts, to become aware of when our mind is wandering. In centering prayer, we would gently bring to mind our sacred word and allow that to bring us back to center. In mindfulness, we become aware of our breathing. As we become aware of our breathing again, it brings us back to center. Remember, the thoughts are still going by, but we're not following them. The thoughts are part of our nature, and it's okay. When we follow them, we have the opportunity to focus back on our breathing. And as we do this, we naturally come back to center. And that brings up the last step in mindfulness, which is release judgment. Whatever the thought that brought us away from center, it's okay. In fact, it's better than okay. It is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to become aware of our breath and bring ourselves back to center. You see, this is going to happen so many times throughout the day. As we take a spirit break, we notice where our thoughts are and we bring ourselves back to center. We can do this with a holy breath, just one deep breath that goes down to the solar plexus and releases. And as we do this in mindfulness practice, we are just becoming aware of our breathing again. You see, as we become aware of our breathing, we don't have to force any thought out. We just naturally bring our attention to the breath, and the thoughts are just on their own again. Without any effort on our part, we focus gently, without judgment. We focus our mind, our awareness, on our breath. So, as you travel through your day and take your spirit breaks, practice some mindfulness. You don't have to limit yourself to once per hour, but try to do it at least once per hour in the day. And forgive yourself when you don't. Remember, this is more play than it is work. Just saying yes aligns spirit to help. And then make an effort once a day to spend 5 minutes in mindfulness meditation, where you find yourself a quiet place and take your seat. Setting a time limit, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever is right for you. And then becoming aware of your body, as it relaxes, and becoming aware of your breath, allowing that awareness of breath to be your center. Noticing your thoughts as they move you away from that center, without judgment, bringing your attention back to the breath and observing that it does come back to center. Playing with this over and over through your time-limited period, just seeing yourself move away, bringing your attention back to the breath without judgment, and allowing these natural processes, these outer sensory inputs and the inner sensory inputs, just to be. When your time limit is over, be grateful. This is not part of mindfulness meditation, but it is a part of unity and our affirmative prayer process. So I always like to end in gratitude. Gratitude not for anything, just grateful. By doing our devotionals once a day, it helps us to align our intention and sets an attitude of the center that goes into our day. So as we travel through the day, we can share our attention. We can focus our attention on spirit. And so that brings me to the song I would like to sing for you today. It's called Traveling on My Way. It uses the analogy of singing the song Traveling on My Way as a way of bringing our attention back to spirit. I wrote this song quite some time ago. I wrote it when I thought that I might be a holy hobo or a traveling gypsy troubadour or some such. Spirit never led me to going out on the road in this way. But I really like this song and what it brings to my consciousness. So take this time now to release your thinking mind and just allow the sound to move through your consciousness. It might be a good time to practice mindfulness. and just allow. Waves roll on in oceans of sound. Wheel keeps turning and going around. Silently hearing the sound in the field. Listen for truth, the truth of the wheel, while you're walking along by the side of the road. Singing this song is the key to the code. Righting a wrong in the course of the day. Singing this song, traveling on your way. Destiny sings in the song that you hear. Whispers of wisdom fall on your ear, making believe and pretending to know. A wolf in sheep's clothing keeps blocking the flow, while you're walking along by the side of the road. Singing this song is the key to the code. Righting a wrong in the course of the day. Singing this song, traveling on your way. Problems arise on this bumpy old road. Struggling to choose and to carry the load, but hear the birds sing in their free-hearted song. Sing it yourself for all the day long, while you're walking along by the side of the road. Singing this song is the key to the code. Righting a wrong in the course of the day. Singing this song, traveling on your way. And now join me as we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much. And remember, take that opportunity to set aside some time and practice the mindfulness meditation. And then bring that mindfulness into your life as you travel along the road that is your path. And take your spirit breaks and being mindful. Thank you so much.